How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to yet another impromptu podcast. And what this is going to be about is about the slow inclines and declines until we get to the ultimate incline that is going to bring us all the way to the top. It's going to be kind of like a plateau. And as I've been told from an engineer, not a genetic engineer, but more so a mechanical, higher up type of engineer. He told me once before, he was like, hey, you know what, starting from the top, you don't necessarily want to sit on the peak, because on the peak, you're going to have to be constantly balancing back and forth over and over again until, eventually either, you fall off the peak or, you're going to have to just be fighting your entire life. And if you want to fight your entire life, that's pretty good. But here's the thing. Fighting your entire life. Do you really want to fight your life? Do you want to fight your entire life? The thing is that when you have a plateau that's kind of like situated near it, you kind of give the person that, let's think out of the box here. Let's go ahead and think out of the box. You don't have to fight your life when you're sitting on the peak of your own mesmerization. You know what I mean? When you are perspiring from your own what's the word for it? When you're perspiring from your own systematic exercise, then you're able to kind of draw your own conclusions from whether or not you're working on your core, whether or not you're working on your head or your face, whether or not you're sitting there looking across at yourself and you're invisible. Where's your aura, representing itself? Is it where you are, or is it where you were? And so that's the thing, is that if you are currently sitting exactly where you're supposed to be, then you understand that life kind of has a way of fucking with you. And when you finally come up from that, when you're able to come up, then you realize the truth about it all. You realize that when time is on time, you're able to make decisions that other people aren't able to make very easily, and that helps you become kind of commander of your situation. Now, in order to become a bigger, greater, better commander, you not only have to have intel, but you have to be able to make decisions that other people are not willing to make. And not only do you have to make decisions, but you also have to know when to not make decisions. You also have to know how to plan, how to get involved with, your senior officers, your junior officers, and you have to know who's the rival, where's the rivalry occurring, and whether or not it's actually an okay rivalry. Sometimes you realize that you are younger than you are. You're younger than most of the people who would hold something above your head, hold something against you. And that's not an okay thing necessarily to do, but when you get to the drinking age, you'll kind of understand. For those of you who are not yet as mature as someone like myself, or someone who understands a lot of, not necessarily people who understand operations, senior operations, and, manufacturing of production procedures, as well as the maintenance and operations of fees and so on and so forth. So when you're able to maintain your own accounts and you hold on to all the monetary benefits that are, reminiscent of times like the 50s when things were going really good, the refrigerator nuclear age, where you would hide in there and then you'd come out and you'd just be like, oh my God, that was just a test. So the test of it all is that when when God's looking down upon you and you're kind of looking up and you're just like, fuck, I feel like a piece of shit. Don't worry about it. You're going to worry about it. You're going to worry about it constantly, probably for hours, maybe more than that. But, let's go ahead and count the minutes, the seconds, the hours, the months. How much time does it take in order to make your life feel more stable? And is a stable life going to be what's for you? And so for that, you're going to end up feeling a little bit more like a lasagna, kind of a mixed plate of noodles and noodling and The main subject is going to dictate whether or not you wear a white T-shirt, a black T-shirt, a green T-shirt, a gray T-shirt. I didn't really want to say green, but here we go with the black screen. And the black screen, when it wakes up, it's more of a grayish kind of color. It's a little bit off-white, egg white. And when situations call for it, you're going to be stepping forward as a feminist or as a masculinist, a misogynist, they usually would call it. But a masculinist is, all the same, less doubtful, be less doubtful about it. So when you're shadowing up, and you have kind of like everything in your own corner, you're able to kind of push forward. Instead of feeling like you're trapped in a corner, it's more so that you've been able to build something from your corner. And so when you talk to the brown stage, then you're able to, technologically realize who the good guy or the bad guy is from a spaghetti western type of standard. And you turn the volume up or you turn the volume down when you are limited to the level of security. And when people are available, when they come home, during the evenings, after work or after they've hung out with some people that they usually don't hang out with or they usually do hang out with, it doesn't matter. Either way, when you have corrugated or perforated metallic kind of patterns, do you crisscross back and forth between the DNA strands as well as the DNA upgrades? And when you listen to your heart and you listen to your mind, when you kind of forgo the human passion that would usually sit and stay in its place, then you lay down or you flip yourself upside down, you put your feet, up toward the ceiling as though you're doing like jumping jacks, but, kind of like the opposite, like you're doing jumping jacks with your hands instead of, on your feet. And so then it kind of makes you look more like a clown. And so as a clown, when you octopus your way forward, then you drink up, the knowledge and wisdom that's required in order for you to proceed to the next level. And so as you recycle, the way that Buddha would have it, Buddha talked about that quite a bit back in the day, when the Buddha was still traveling around, giving mixed messages and kind of lessons, of the sort. A lot of people don't understand what they're talking about, and a lot of people don't understand what is supposed to be occurring, in sort of a fashion. I mean, but here's the thing, is if you take precautions, then you kind of understand where you are coming from. And so on that number, on that level, if you're sitting at a baseball game and you got someone sitting next to you doing something kind of strange, it's just kind of like, the ticket that you bought and the ticket that they bought, it kind of corresponds with the system, and it corresponds, like, the way that it works is that it all comes from the same base, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. And, not to be cliche, but when you take out the trash, then your house is going to be clean of it. And not necessarily is it going to be that trash bags contain the trash that you think you've been looking for. So, anyways, thank you so much for listening. As amazing as this whole thing has been, you're going to keep being amazed. So just shut the fuck up and love yourselves. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.